What up, guys? GangstaPranksta here, and I'm back with the weekly wrestling and review. I know I haven't put it up for the past couple weeks, and that's because the week before I got a virus, and it messed up my whole uploading schedule. So this week, I'm gonna do kind of two reviews in one. Well, I'm not gonna review 2 weeks before, but I'm just gonna talk about it a little bit. And if you're new to the show, I review the weekly wrestling shows and give my opinions on them. Okay, so this is from 2 weeks ago. I'm not really going to go through it, just some noteworthy things. They announced the winner from Tough Enough, Andy Levine. Let's see, Impact, anything? No, nothing on Impact. And Smackdown had a really good match with Sheamus and Orton in a no DQ match. That was a really good match. I recommend you check it out. And okay, just a couple news things from a couple weeks ago. Tommy Dreamer is done with TNA wrestling. That's fine. I don't mind if he stays in TNA, just as long as he doesn't stay in the ring. Have a backstage role as an agent, a writer, whatever, it's fine with me. But in the ring, not so much. Next we have Kevin Nash. He got into a fight with a guy that was hitting on his wife. The guy was drunk. And I just thought this was a funny story because a lot of people, like when you think wrestling, or when you go up to a normal person, a regular person who's not a fan, they're like, oh, wrestling's fake. And then Kevin Nash beat the shit out of this guy, and then he got arrested and falsely charged, and then the charges were dropped. But yeah, fucking Kevin Nash being a motherfucker, beating up somebody, hitting on his wife. Keep it up. And we have Batista opening an MMA shop with Cesar Gracie, and it's going to be in Tampa, Florida. He tried to get into MMA, didn't work out, so he's gonna open his own gym. I think this is pretty funny. He got his ass kicked by Booker T in flip-flops, and he wants to teach people how to fight. I just thought it was pretty funny when I heard he wanted to do MMA. Okay, so let's get into the reviews. First, we got TNA Slammiversary, which happened last week. It was an okay show. There's some stupid shit, and I will talk about it. First, Gun Money versus the British Invasion. I don't know why the British Invasion were in this match, but yeah. Other than that, it was a good match. Gun Money win. Probably the worst tag team match I've ever seen. And I'm not shitting on the match. Like, it was a good match, but it was a tag team match, not a fatal four-way. There was like no fucking tags. People just went in the ring whenever the fuck they wanted, tagged or not. Everyone's in doing hidden double team moves whenever the fuck they want. I thought it was like really dumb. It really devalued the purpose of tagging. When you can just go in whenever, and the ref is not saying anything, like get out of the ring, he's just watching. So I thought that was pretty fucking retarded. Other than that, it was a good match. Next we got Scott Steiner versus Matt Morgan. It was better than I thought it was gonna be, but after a while, it felt like it was never gonna end, and it finally did, and Morgan won, which is fine. Next we have Kazarian versus Abyss versus Bryan Kendrick. It was a good match, and Abyss retains his title. Crimson versus Samoa Joe, pretty good match. Crimson wins. Angelina Love versus Mickie James, pretty good for women's match. Mickie retains after the match winner, and Angelina attack Mickie. Next is Bully Ray versus AJ Styles. Awesome match. These guys, Bully Ray beat the shit out of AJ Styles. Like, AJ Styles is a fucking man. I always liked AJ, but like watching him in this match just like made me like him even more. Like, such a badass. Those chops he took. Bully Ray chopped the shit out of AJ that his chest was bleeding. Like, redonkulous. And AJ's like, chop me more, you son of a bitch. You ain't got shit. And, you know, he just keeps getting chopped, and his chest was bleeding. Goddamn, AJ, goddamn. So it was a good match. Bully Ray wins. I don't agree with this. I think AJ should have won. But the end was pretty dumb. So you have AJ do an elbow on Bully Ray through a table. And then AJ gets up and Bully Ray kicks AJ through like some drywall. And AJ is fucking out. Like, I never knew throwing someone through drywall knocked him the fuck out. I don't even think it was drywall. I think it was cardboard. But whatever. I thought it was pretty retarded. But yeah, what can you do? Next is Mr. Anderson versus Sting. A good match. It was actually a good match. Sting brought it in this match. Anderson wins, but the end was pretty fucking gay. Anderson just low blows Sting in front of the ref, and pins him. Hits his finisher and pins him. I would have had no problem with this, like the fact that if it's a storyline, okay, but you didn't address it on Impact, so I thought it was pretty fucking dumb. It was a waste. And yeah, it ruined the finish of the match. Next we have Kurt Angle versus Jeff Jarrett. A great match. Angle wins. One thing that always blows my mind about whoever Kurt Angle's facing, usually it's another American, but people always chant USA. See, USA chants only work if he's facing someone that's not American. Otherwise, it just looks really fucking dumb. Especially when Jarrett is American. If Angle was taking on someone like the Iron Sheik and the fans were chanting USA, yeah, that would work in that scenario. But it's not the Iron Sheik, it's Jeff Jarrett. So don't chant USA, you fucking retards. The fans were so dead for this pay-per-view. That's one thing that pissed me off. TNA, you consider Slammiversary one of your big pay-per-views, so take it out, bring it to Canada, New York, Chicago, places that love wrestling, because the Impact Zone, they barely cheered, they just fucking watched, and it really ruined the atmosphere of Slammiversary. And one thing, they didn't even dress up the stadium, you know, you would think you were watching Impact, pretty much. But whatever, enough about Impact. Next we got Raw. It was a 3-hour show. I don't really remember what happened, so let's just review. Miz comes out, says he's going to beat Riley at Capital Punishment. And then he calls out Austin for stunning him last week. Austin comes out. They go back and forth. And then he says Miz is going to be in Piper's Pit tonight. So Miz leaves. Del Rio comes out. Austin interrupts him and says he's gonna face Kane. So Kane versus Alberto Del Rio is an okay match. Kane wins after Alberto doesn't let go of a armbar, and Big Show comes out and makes a save. And Austin says it'll be Del Rio versus Big Show at Capital Punishment. Next we have Sin Cara, Daniel Bryan, and Ezekiel Jackson versus Wade Barrett, Ted DiBiase, and Cody Rhodes. It was an okay match, and Sin Cara, Jackson, and Daniel Bryan win. Next we have Hornswoggle, who's shooting t-shirts in the crowd. Then R-Truth comes out, he wants to try the gun. Hornswoggle says no, and then R-Truth just kicks him in the face. I thought it was funny. And then Austin appears on the Titantron and says you're going to face John Morrison tonight. So John Morrison makes his return to Raw. Next we have Sheamus versus Santino. Okay match. Sheamus wins, not Santino. Next we have Orton. He calls out Christian. He wants to fight Christian, but he can't because he has a concussion and he can't compete until the pay-per-view. So Austin says Christian will face Rey Mysterio tonight. The match ends in a DQ when Christian doesn't let go of a hold. I thought this was a pretty dumb finish, especially since we already saw it in the Alberto versus Kane match. You could have had the Nexus come out and attack Mysterio, and that would have been fine. They did that anyways. The Nexus came out and attacked Mysterio. La-di-da. Next we have R-Truth versus John Morrison. It never happens. They played John Morrison's entrance music over and over. He never came out. So R-Truth is like, you know what? If you're not coming out, I'll go look for you. So he goes out. He looks for Morrison, and Morrison's found beat up in the backstage. And then he hits him with some big blue box, injuring him further. Next we have Dolph Ziggler and Jack Swagger versus Evan Bourne and Kofi Kingston. Okay match. Bourne and Kingston win. Next we have Roddy Piper. He comes out and he has his Piper's Pit segment. And The Miz comes out and they go back and forth. This was pretty good. This was a pretty good Piper's Pit. Because Miz can talk. Piper can definitely talk. He's probably the best wrestler to ever talk on a mic. I'd put him in my top 5. I'd be like him, Rock, and I don't really know who else. Maybe Ric Flair. They go back and forth, and then Alex Riley comes out, and then he says, Miz, Piper can beat you right now. And he's like, what is that challenge? So Piper and Miz have a match. And Alex Riley's a special guest referee. Short and sweet match. It went less than a minute, I think. Piper beats Miz, and that advances the storyline between Riley and Miz, which is what this match needed to do. Next, we have Maurice, the Bellas, Melina, Alicia Fox, Tamina, and Rosa Mendez versus Kelly Kelly, Beth Phoenix, Natalia, AJ Lee, Gail Kim, Caitlyn, and Eve. What a clusterfuck. This was pretty fucking retarded, especially since Kelly Kelly and, Rosa Mendez were the only one that wrestled. Everyone else was just there. I mean, they broke out into a brawl about 30 seconds into the match. The match lasted a minute. You got 14 divas, fucking a minute match. Yeah, enough said. Kelly Kelly wins. Horrible match. Way to showcase all your divas. Next, we have an awesome backstage segment between CM Punk and Stone Cold. Austin offers CM Punk a beer, and Punk was like, what? I just thought this was amazing. These two would have such a great feud. Maybe the match wouldn't be, a 5-star match, because Austin hasn't wrestled in a long time, but the story would definitely be amazing. Austin, he stands for everything Punk's against, and I just think it'd be a great build-up and a great story. And yeah, I wish we would see it, but I don't think we will. So next, Austin comes out. He immediately gets interrupted by the general manager. The GM thanks Austin for filling in for him and says he'll return next week. I thought this was kind of dumb because the GM's never there, per se. Unless it's Michael Cole, which I think it is. But yeah, just this segment was kind of annoying because I forgot how annoying the GM is and how long the storyline's been going on and how stupid it is. Just fucking end it already, fucking A. But Austin says the next week's show is going to be a 3-hour show and it's going to be revolved around fan interaction. And then Austin grabs the laptop, destroys it, and pours beer over it. Next we have CM Punk versus John Cena. Really good match. R-Truth distracts Cena, and Punk hits the go to sleep. After the match, R-Truth attacks Cena. Overall, pretty good show, I think. Oh, it was based around the WWE All-Star Game, too. I wanted to mention this. You fucking revolve it around a game that's a couple months old. Come on, WWE. You're the marketing machine. This should have been right before the game was released, because the game was released on a Tuesday, so you could have had it on a Monday. Hyped up for the game, and maybe that would have sold extra sales. I don't know, but it was kind of dumb seeing this done a couple months after the game was released. So yeah, anyways, next we have TNA Impact. It starts out with Mr. Anderson. He talks about winning the title. Gunner comes out. He wants a title shot for helping Anderson last week. Anderson says he doesn't deserve one, throws beer in Gunner's face, and then Gunner puts Anderson through a table full of food. Next is Hernandez versus Brother Devon. It was a blah match. It ends in DQ and Mexican America attack Devon. D'Angelo De Niro comes in and makes the save. Next we have Kurt Angle. He comes out and talks about beating Jeff Jarrett and being the #1 contender. Jarrett comes out and he says the feud is not over, even though it clearly stated at Slammiversary, this is the final battle between these two. Jarrett's like, no, we're going to wrestle again. Reminiscent of Bobby Roode, Eric Young. They had a feud around 2007, and that thing went like 9 months. Oh my god, that was redonkulous. 9 months of Eric Young and Robert Roode. I liked them individually, but holy fuck, 9 months. And the feud was horrible between them. But this is a pretty good feud. I don't really like when they mix real life situations into wrestling. That never fucking works. Never. So Angle tells Jarrett to get over it. And Angle finally agrees to a match if Jeff moves to Mexico. If he loses, Jeff says okay. What a dumb stipulation. Hey, you're gonna move to Mexico. Okay, I can just fly out to Impact, right? Okay. Next we have Kid Cash versus Jimmy Ray versus Austin Aries. So TNA is doing, I think Destination X is an all X Division pay-per-view. I don't think it will be. I think they'll have a couple X Division matches. I don't think the whole pay-per-view will revolve around it. But, so they're bringing in guys for a tournament, I think, and they're going to have matches, and then whoever wins goes to Destination X pay-per-view. And then they're going to have a match, and winner of that gets a contract with TNA. So we had Kid Cash, Jimmy Rave, Austin Aries. All talented guys. I love Austin Aries. Extremely talented dude. On the mic, in the ring. He's just great. I mean, the only thing that would hold him back from a top position, he's not a really big guy. But he makes up for it in his, like, in the ring and shit. But let's get to the match. It was a good match. Very fast-paced. What an X Division match needs to be. They gave the wrestlers time to shine. They gave them time. They gave them almost 10 minutes. Let them hit their big moves. It was good to see all three of them in the ring. I love Jimmy Rave. I think he's a really talented dude. Kid Cash, Austin Aries. Austin Aries wins, so he goes to the pay-per-view. Next we have Velvet Sky and Miss Tessmacher versus Rosita and Sarita. I always love when TNA does TNA Knockouts tag team title match because it's like one every 4 months. Like, they forget about the tag team titles. Like, oh, there's tag team titles in the women's division. Oh, they haven't been on TV and they haven't been defended? Oh my god, dude. Like, we should put them on TV. And usually this scenario occurs like once every 4 months. It's redonkulous. Get rid of the belts. And don't rename them like you did with the TV title. God, that is the most stupidest title ever. It went from the Legends title to the Global title to the TV title. No, oh my god. You rebrand that piece of shit like it's nothing. Get rid of the Knockouts tag team titles. These titles were made when you had a women's division. That was good. Awesome Kong, ODB, Gail Kim, Roxy, the Beautiful People, Tara, who else? That's about it. Whatever. So this was an okay match at best. ODB distracts Velvet, allowing Rosita and Sarita to win. After the match, Jackie Moore makes her return to TNA and teams up on Velvet with ODB. Next, we have Samoa Joe vs. RVD. Good match, but why the fuck was this on Impact? This should be at a pay-per-view. More specifically, this should be a Bound for Glory. I don't think they've ever wrestled. They didn't really build it up as, oh my god, they've never wrestled before. Yada da da da. But I'm pretty sure they haven't wrestled before, at least not in TNA. And this could have been an amazing pay-per-view match, but fucking TNA used it on a goddamn Impact. This was a good match. RVD wins. Why wasn't this on pay-per-view? Next, we have Gunner vs. Mr. Anderson. Good match. Gunner wins. Yeah, you could tell TNA is pushing the shit out of Gunner. You know, they're trying to make a star. But you're not going to make a star out of him in one night. It takes time, and I think he's been on a good path. Pull with Immortal and Hulk Hogan and Bischoff. Yeah, that's about it. Next, we have Kurt Angle and Jeff Jarrett in a parking lot brawl. This was redonkulous. Like, redonkulous. I didn't really like it. It was like a fucking high school fight. They're fighting in a parking lot. You have the other wrestlers making a circle around them, chanting fight, fight, fight. Yeah, it was, I didn't like it, but, ooh, Jeff Jarrett, he got slammed a couple times on the fucking concrete. Ah, man, dude, oh, it's painful to watch. I don't really know who won. I think Angle won. He's like, I think he had Jarrett in a choke, and he's like, say uncle, or say Mexico, or something, and Jarrett said it. So I think Angle won, whatever, so... Adios, Jeff Jarrett. Have fun in Mexico. He did win the Mexican title. The AAA heavyweight title. Off a AAA pay-per-view. So, good for him. He might work there a little bit. That's cool. Next, we have Smackdown. Orton comes out. He says he wants to fight Christian. Teddy Long says no. Sheamus comes out. Christian comes out. Sheamus says he should be the #1 contender. Because he beat Orton last week. So Teddy Long makes a match. Sheamus versus Christian. If Christian wins, it's a 1v1 against Orton and Christian. If Sheamus wins, it's a triple threat at the pay-per-view. Next, we have Sin Cara versus Daniel Bryan versus Ezekiel. Daniel Bryan, Sin Cara, and Ezekiel Jackson versus Barrett, Dibiase, and Cody Rhodes. This is a rematch from Raw. It was a lot better because they had some more time. But they fucked up the ending. Like, Ted DiBiase didn't kick out on time. So the match just kind of ended. So, a missed call, whatever. Next we have Jinder Mahal versus Kozlov. Okay match. Jinder Mahal wins. Next is Big Show. He comes out. He's interviewed by Josh Matthews. They talk about the accident. Teddy Long comes out. He says he will not attack Del Rio because there's criminal charges. And he's going to face Mark Henry tonight. So Big Show versus Mark Henry. It never got started. Big Show just destroyed Mark Henry. Fucking annihilated him. To the point where you think, how can Mark Henry come back? Next is Tamina, Alicia Fox, and Rosa Mendez versus Natalya, AJ Lee, and Caitlyn. Blah match. Tamina, Alicia Fox, and Rosa Mendez win. Next we have Heath Slater and Justin Gabriel versus the Usos. Good tag team match. The Usos win. Next is Alberto. He comes out. He talks about his ring announcer being injured by Big Show and how he's going to get revenge for the announcer and beat Big Show at the pay-per-view. Big Show comes out, chases Del Rio away, and Big Show just destroys everything around the ring. Next we have Sheamus versus Christian. Good match. So that was SmackDown. Before I end this, just a couple things I want to mention. Let me do my predictions for Capital Punishment. Rey Mysterio versus CM Punk. I wish CM Punk will win. And hopefully move into a higher up feud. Alex Riley versus The Miz. Miz has been getting embarrassed the past couple weeks, so maybe he can get a win. Kinda, I don't know. It's kind of like a. I think like Alex Riley definitely needs the win to establish himself, but I also think Miz needs the win. Yeah. I'm gonna go with Miz. I think Miz should win. So next we have Big Show versus Alberto Del Rio. I think you have the ring announcer come out and cost Big Show the match, and then they have a rematch at the next pay-per-view. Wade Barrett versus Ezekiel Jackson for the IC Championship. I think Ezekiel Jackson finally wins. Barrett doesn't have the Nexus anymore, so I see Ezekiel Jackson winning it. Next is Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler. They've been pushing Dolph Ziggler on Raw for the past couple weeks, so I think he might win. Yeah, we're gonna go with Dolph Ziggler, new U.S. champion. Next is Orton versus Christian. Pretty sure Orton will win, but I'd like to see Christian win and be the top heel on SmackDown. He has the gold. You could say that Orton had a concussion, and that's what kind of helped Christian win the match. You know, he took advantage of the concussion, and yeah. And last but not least, John Cena versus R-Truth. I would like to see R-Truth win, but I don't think he will. I think John Cena's gonna retain, and yeah. Whatever, that's capital punishment. The pay-per-view doesn't look that good, to be honest. No tag team wrestling whatsoever, no Divas matches. There's only 7 matches here, so I suspect one more to be added at least. And yeah, okay, so the news, it was reported earlier in the week that WWE has released Michael Tarver, Jacob Novak, Buck Dixon, Buddy Stretcher, and Ethan Levin. Okay, so out of the names that I just read, you probably only know Michael Tarver and Jacob Novak from NXT. The other guys were released from Florida Championship Wrestling, which is where WWE has the wrestlers they sign, train. I don't see any of them going to TNA, and hopefully they can make a living in wrestling and maybe return to WWE in the future. Next we have Desmond Wolfe. He's been released by Impact Wrestling. This was coming eventually, especially since he has not wrestled in like a year and a half. No, a year, at least a year. And you know, he has a medical condition, hepatitis. I think it's hepatitis. I could be wrong. It's being reported that he has hepatitis C or B. I'm not sure. One thing I wish they would have used him for, put him on the fucking what's called the ring announcer with Taz and Tenay. Have him do like color commentary. I think Desmond Wolfe is a great talker, and I think he would be a great not a ring announcer, but announcer, just an announcer. Or you could have had him been Bischoff's not sidekick, but like partner. You could have had him been the network. So many things, but yeah, it's sad to see him go because he's a great wrestler, and this medical condition, he might not get to wrestle again, you know. But if he does, hopefully he goes to ROH again. Fucking A, their pay-per-view next week. So excited. I'm so excited. I'll review that next week. It is being reported that Trevor Murdoch will be making his return to WWE. That'll be cool. If you don't know Trevor Murdoch, he teamed with Lance Cade in the early portion of 2006. Rest in peace, Lance Cade. So I think he'll just go and hopefully he'll get a push, but I think he'll just be used to put over talent, which sucks. And Trevor Murdoch was in TNA and whatever, and that shit sucked ass. But, okay, next we got Paul Heyman. He did an interview about how he would have saved TNA. I'm going to try and find the link and annotation it, and it's a pretty interesting thing, because he's like, I was pretty close to going to TNA, and if I did go to TNA, this is how I would help the company. And he pretty much says I would get rid of all the old guys except one. So I think he would get rid of everybody and leave Hogan or Sting or someone like that. And then he says he would have it all new guys. So like guys like Amazing Red, Styles, Daniels, Samoa Joe, Kazarian, the Machine Guns, Beer Money. He said he'd like push those guys. So I'll link it. You can listen to the interview. It's like 7 minutes long. Really interesting to listen to. And last but not least, happy Father's Day. Wish your fathers a happy Father's Day. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed the gameplay. I hope you enjoyed the reviews. What else? Yeah, that's about it. So next week I will review Capital Punishment, give my predictions for the ROH pay-per-view. Hopefully you guys will take an interest in that, because there will be some names that you might know, like Jay Lethal and Rhino. They're supposed to be on the pay-per-view. So, yeah, maybe, whatever. I'll talk about this more next week. Whatever, guys. GangstaPranksta, and I'm out. Leave comments for match suggestions. And that's about it. Peace out.